A warm welcome to all the viewers for the course Advanced Manufacturing Technology. And today we are going to discuss about the plasma arc machining, and this will be the lecture 2 session for this plasma arc machining. Well, this is one of the non-traditional machining process, as you all are aware of it. And you know that in plasma arc machining we are generating that plasma and we are using that plasma to melt or vaporize the material and to perform the machining. Well, in the lecture 1 for plasma arc machining, we have already discussed about the working principle of plasma arc machining, and we have also discussed about the types of plasma arc machining. It can be a transferred arc, it is a non-transferred arc. So we have already discussed, and today in this particular lecture we are going to discuss about the process parameter that are affecting the machining of this particular process. So now let's go to the content. So already in my first lecture for plasma arc machining, I have already gave a brief introduction of plasma arc machining, and I have also informed about the plasma, how the generation of plasma occurs, and the process as well as the equipment. So this portion I have already covered up in my previous lecture, and today what we are going to discuss in this particular lecture, it's all about parameters influencing parameter for plasma arc machining performance, process capability, application, and advantages and disadvantages of this process. So without any further delay, let's go to the next slide. Well, here you can see that what are the parameters that influence the plasma arc machining performance. So before we go through the parameters, just allow me to recapitulate the working principle of plasma arc machining. Well, a plasma is a high temperature ionized gas. It is known to all of you. And the plasma arc machining is done with a high speed jet of a high temperature plasma. And the most important thing is that the plasma jet heats up the workpiece where the jet impinges on it, causing a quick melting. Plasma arc machining can be used on all material which conduct electricity. Now, including those which are resistant to oxy-fuel gas cutting, this process is extensively used for profile cutting of stainless steel, monel, and superalloy plate. Well, plasma is generated by subjecting a flowing gas to the electron bombardment of an arc, and for this arc, a setup between the electrode and anodic nozzle is required, and the gas is forced to flow through this arc. Now the high velocity electron of the arc collide with the gas molecules, causing a dislocation of the diatomic molecules or atom into ions and electrons, resulting in a substantial increase in the conductivity of the gas, which is now in the plasma state. Now the free electron subsequently accelerate and cause more ionization and heating. Afterward, a further increase in temperature takes place when the molecule when the ion and free electron recombine into atom, or when the atom recombine into molecule, as these are exothermic processes. So a high temperature plasma is generated, which is forced through the nozzle in the form of jet. And the mechanism of material removal is totally based on heating and melting, and the removal of the molten metal by blasting action of plasma jet. So if I consider the parameters that are associated with plasma arc machining performance, then let us see what are the parameters. So you can see, first thing, design and operation of the torch. As you know, torch is very important part or equipment of this particular setup. So design and operation, obviously we have to consider. Next, the physical configuration of the setup. And finally, the environment in which the work is performed. So everything we have to consider in our mind. So come, let's have a look for the operation aspect. So what can be the operation aspect? Obviously, there are two modes of operations of DC plasma torch or direct current plasma torch. One is non-transferred mode, another is transferred mode. Now this transferred mode is further classified into turbulent and laminar mode. So turbulency means it is very difficult for making it a combined one, or you can say it is beyond the control turbulent type of mode. And laminar means it is moving in a very smooth mode. So if I ask that what is the operation aspect for parametric associated with the design and the operation of the torch, then you have to remember it is non-transferred mode, another is the transferred mode. And this transfer mode is further subdivided into laminar mode, another is turbulent mode. Design aspect. Every product has got some design aspect. So it may be a product, it may be a setup. So we have to keep in the mind that what the requirement actually we want from that particular setup. So as per the requirement, the design aspect is also decided. And the most important thing is that the plasma torch is designed in such a manner because we want to have the maximum thermal output. So to obtain the maximum thermal output, the plasma torch is designed in that particular aspect. And today in this particular slide, we are going to discuss about the design aspect. So what are the design aspect here? It has been told. One is cathode size. Second is converging of nozzle. Third is nozzle orifice diameter. Fourth is orifice length. Fifth is electrode gap. And sixth is cooling of electrode. So this electrode gap, there should be a gapping. How much the gap should be? That we have to keep in the mind. Next, cooling of electrode. Why cooling of electrode is required? Because the heat that is generated there, it is too high. It can damage the setup. It can damage the accuracy level of that particular product. So to avoid all this wear and damage or overheating, the cooling of electrode is very essential. Now nozzle orifice diameter, because with this particular thing only the flame intensity, it can be controlled. Okay, so this has to be kept in mind. So these are the 6 important parameters that has to be considered while we are considering the design aspect. One is cathode side. One is convergence of nozzle. Next is nozzle of orifice diameter, orifice length, electrode gap, and cooling of electrode. Now let's have a look for design or general design consideration. First of all, large current require large diameter cathode, orifice length as well as electrode gap. So whenever you are thinking for large current requirement, then you have to provide a larger dia cathode, orifice length and electrode gap. Next, while operating at larger arc voltage, it is preferable to increase the angle of taper near the cathode tip. So when large arc voltage is required, it is preferable to increase the angle of taper at the cathode tip. Next, while operating at the transferred arc anode, the flat face cathode is used due to high arc voltage. So while operating at transfer arc mode, flat face cathode is used to high arc voltage. And next is edges of the construction are rounded off to avoid the turbulence. Edge of construction are rounded off to avoid turbulence. Now, next is non-transferred arc mode. Basically use long throat length. Whereas, if you think about the transferred arc mode, the minimum length is used. So this mode is also directly proportional to the what? The throat length. If you go for the non-transferred arc mode, then you have to select a long throat length. And if you transfer the arc mode, then you require minimum length. Next, what we are talking about, that is no water leakage into the plasma chamber from the cooling chamber is allowed. So if there is any water leakage, then it will affect the mechanism also. So we should be very much assured, or we should be very much clear about that there should not be any water leakage in the plasma chamber. And finally, oxygen or compounds of oxygen in the plasma gas are determined to the cathode. So oxygen is there, or any compound of oxygen, if it is found in plasma gas, then determinant to the cathode. It is determined by the cathode. So this is one of the important thing that we have to keep in mind. Now, if you want to go with successful utilization of plasma arc machining, then it is necessary to analyze the following process parameter. Already I have told you that there are various type of process parameters are involved. What are they? Power supply, shielding gas, nozzle, primary gas, and cutting parameter. So if I talk about the power supply, what type it should be? It should be a DC type. If I talk about the power supply, what should be the average voltage? It should be 200 volt. If I talk about the power supply, what amount of current should be maintained? It should be between 50 to 1000 ampere. And if I talk about the power for power supply, then how much kilowatt power is required? It should be between 2 to 200 kilowatt. Now let's move to the next parameter, that is shielding. Now what type of shielding gas you are going to prefer? Carbon dioxide, then hydrogen, then the type you are going to prefer for carbon dioxide, water, argon and hydrogen. Okay. And if I talk about the pressure, then the pressure should be 11 bar. If I talk about the flow rate of the shielding gas, the flow rate should vary between 50 meter cube per hour. Now let's move to the Next parameter, I mean to say next process parameter, and one of the most important process parameter is nozzle, as all of you know. So this nozzle is what? You need to have a look for standoff distance, SOD. That is the distance between the nozzle and the workpiece. And it should vary between 6 to 30 millimeter. Next, we will be talking about diameter of the nozzle. It should vary between 0.80 to 6.30 millimeter. Now, if I ask what is the duration or what is the lifespan of a nozzle, then it is very hard to believe that is the life of a nozzle varies between 2 to 5 hours. Why? Because the gas that is generating the temperature, it is quite too high. Because when you are heating the gas or the temperature of the gas that you are ejecting over the material, that time only it is between 20,000 to 30,000 degrees Celsius. So probably there is a chance of getting eroded. So if it is getting eroded, the inner material of the nozzle, then there is a defect while you are performing the operation. So to avoid this and to obtain high accuracy level, the nozzle lifespan has been considered to 2 to 5 hours. Now what are the materials that is preferred for nozzle? It is ZR and HF. Now let's move to the next process parameter. It is cutting parameter. So wherever you are performing the machining means you are considering some cutting operation. So if cutting operation is included, then what should be considered? First of all, we are considering the tool. What tool? That is plasma jet. Because plasma jet itself is helping you to cut the material. So your cutting parameter, it can be considered as plasma jet. Now if I ask what is the maximum velocity of plasma jet, then the option is one and only, that is 500 meter per second. So in 1 second it can travel 500 meter. This is the maximum velocity of a plasma jet. Now what is the maximum temperature of this particular plasma jet? The temperature varies between 16,000 to 20,000. Again I am repeating, the maximum temperature varies between 16,000 to 20,000. Now what is the material removal rate? Because ultimately you are performing the operation for what? You are removing the material. And that is between 150 centimeter cube per minute. So if I consider the material removal rate, it is 150 centimeter per minute. Now if I consider what is the maximum plate thickness, then it is 200 millimeter. So machining can be done up to the thickness of 200 millimeter, not more than that. Next we are discussing about the cutting speed. What should be the cutting speed? It should vary between 0.1 to 7.5 meter per minute. So you can see that what is the cutting speed also, that is between 0.1 to 7.5 meter per minute. Now let's have a look for primary gas. What are the gas you are considering? Obviously it is the main gas you are using and it is accustomed by the shielding gas. So whenever we are talking about the main gas or the primary gas, basically it is the composition of nitrogen and hydrogen. Nitrogen is 90% and hydrogen is 10%. So if I combine the ratio for nitrogen is to hydrogen, then I can say for 90 is to 10. And what should be the pressure for it? It is 10 bar. And if I ask the flow rate, then it is 50 meter cube per minute. So from this particular slide, hope it is clear to all of you that we are using different process parameter And these all process parameters somehow affecting the mechanism of material removal in plasma arc machining. One is power supply, number two is shielding, number three nozzle, number four primary gases, number five cutting parameter. So it's very important. It's very important because you have to go through all this thing. You have to learn all this thing. Okay. Because these are the process parameter that will affect the MRR, that is the material removal rate. So that is the material removal rate is your output parameter. Now we are having a look for parameters associated with physical configuration of the system. So if I talk about the physical configuration of a system, then what are the variables we were considering? First of all, standoff distance. Second is your angle. Third is your depth of cut. Fourth is your speed. Fifth is the feed of the work, and that is towards the torch. Now the feed and depth is determined the material removed. So standoff distance, SOD, I have already mentioned in electric discharge machining also that in abrasive jet machining I have mentioned the standoff distance because it is a distance between the nozzle and the workpiece. So if you consider the standoff distance, then it is between the nozzle and the workpiece, and this is a very effective parameter because it maintains, if we maintain minimum standoff distance for better quality cut, since our cut divergence is less. So if you increase the standoff distance, the arc divergence will increase more. And to avoid this arc divergence, always we have to maintain a minimum standoff distance. Otherwise, if the divergence occurs more, then the effectiveness of material removal will be getting less. And in fact, you can say this will affect the efficiency of the machining also. You will not get the requirement size product, what is demandable by this particular process. Now, increased process input is necessary when standoff distance is large. And if you increase the standoff distance, that means you have to increase the power input also. So for this all thing, you have to think one thing, that what should be the range of standoff distance. So after several experiments, it has been observed a best suitable standoff distance range should vary between 6.5 to 76.2 millimeter. Again I am repeating, after carrying out several experiments, several studies, it has been found that the best suited standard of distance has been recommended in the range varying from 6.5 to 76.2 millimeter. Now we are talking about the cutting speed. So this is another important our input parameter, isn't it? Here we have studied that the speed basically depends. Cutting speed always depends on the thickness of the material to be machined. This is a very true fact. That is, speed depends on the thickness of the material. If you are having thick material, then lower speed. And if you are having thin material, then also you have to go fast speed because your material removal is occurring very quickly. Thus here the statement has been mentioned that thick material requires lower speed than thin material because thickness of the thin material is not so high. So you can perform the machining in a very simple manner. But if you think about the thick material, you need to pay more concentration on that particular material to remove the material. Next, the typical value of the cutting speed has been mentioned here. Now plasma or cutting speed, whenever the speed it is coming, then obviously various material will be coming. What are the thickness it is coming? How much R current you are providing, that is coming. And what is the cutting speed that you are maintaining, basically it is coming. So if you select stainless steel as your material, and if your thickness is 75, your R current required is 800 ampere, and your cutting speed will be 380 millimeter per minute. So when your thickness is small, your R current required is also small, but your cutting speed is getting increased. And when your thickness is more, that is 130 for stainless steel, your R current required more, that is 1000, and you can see your cutting speed is also getting less because you have to remove the material and it will take time. Same thing for aluminum also. When the thickness is 75, the requirement of R current is 900 ampere and your cutting speed is, see, it is much more high, 760 millimeter per minute. But as you are increasing the thickness, that is 180 millimeter, your R current has been increased to 1000 ampere and your cutting speed has decreased, that is 180. Now for brass material, if you select the thickness as 13, your R current required is 400 and your cutting speed has been raised to 1780 millimeter per minute. And you just have a look for titanium. Obviously it is a very hard material. And you can see if the thickness is 13, R current required 400 ampere, but it is having the maximum cutting speed. That is 2285. So this can be machined very quickly, titanium. If the thickness is small, current is 400 and you can see how it is performing the machining. So you have to remember this portion, which material is having how much cutting speed. Now, as we have told that parameters that are associated with environment in which the work is performed. So environment is also one of the factors. And the most important thing is that the protective atmosphere has created to reduce the oxidation of exposed high temperature machine surface. And next is that the deflection of the arc should be kept minimum. Arc deflection, every time I am telling, everywhere I am telling, for plasma arc machining, the deflection of the arc should be kept minimum. Otherwise, the accurate machining or the accuracy of the machining cannot be obtained. So the next option, that is the spread of plasma column should be uniform on impingement area. The spread of the plasma column should be uniform on the impingement area. So this has to be also kept in the mind. So if I consider the environment, then obviously I have to keep in my mind these three parameters. One, the protective atmosphere that will help to reduce the oxidation. Second, the deflection of the arc must be minimum. And third, the spread of plasma column should be also getting uniform on the impingement area. It should be uniform, otherwise the material removal will be in an abrupt way. Now we are talking about the process capabilities. What are the capability of this particular process? First of all, carbon steel plate, if it is thicker than 50 millimeter, it can be cut 10 times faster than oxy-fuel cutting. So you can see the accuracy or effectiveness of plasma arc machining. That is, it can cut 10 times faster. It can cut 10 times faster than your oxy-fuel cutting. Next, accuracy lies between 0.8 millimeter to up to 35 millimeter plate. And accuracy level is 3 millimeter if you consider up to 150 millimeter plate. Next, sharp radius up to 4 millimeter is possible and it can be increased up to 38 millimeter too. The MRR that you are obtaining, it lies between 150 centimeter cube per minute and possible curve angle, that is 2 to 7 degree with normal cutting condition, can be obtained, and 1 degree to 2 degree with a special arrangement has been obtained. Now smoother surface can be achieved comparedly to oxyacetylene flame. Again repeating, smoother surface can be obtained as compared to oxyacetylene flame. Next, Mg, Ti, copper, nickel and zinc alloy, of copper and nickel can be cut with plasma arc machining. It is also used for profile cutting of many metals like mild steel, alloy steel, titanium, etc. So these are the process capability of plasma arc machining while performing the operation. So finally we have came to the portion, that is the application. Every process has got some application, isn't it? So this is the application. First application is plasma can be used to make cut in electrically conductive metals. Again I am repeating, plasma can be used to make cuts in electrically conductive metals. Plasma is also used for cutting grooves in the hardened shaft. Plasma can also used for cutting grooves in hardened shaft even. Plasma is used for undercutting water also. Undercutting welding you have heard about. Similar way undercutting cutting, underwater cutting is also there. So plasma is preferred for underwater cutting also. Plasma is also preferred for underwater cutting. Next is plasma arc can be used for depositing filler material on the surface or the corroded or worn out part to obtain desired properties like corrosion resistance, wear resistance and friction property too. Next is plasma is used for profile cutting stainless steel, aluminum, titanium and others non-ferrous material also. So these are the application that we cannot forget that has been provided by plasma arc machining. So these are the application. Now all of you know that every process has got some advantages as well as some disadvantages. So we cannot avoid it. If we are having some advantages, that means that process have got some disadvantages too. So now let's have a look for the advantages. First of all, it is used for cutting ferrous and non-ferrous material at a very high speed. You cannot imagine that for ferrous and non-porous material at a very high speed the cutting operation is performed. And profile cutting of SST and titanium is also possible. So these are very hard material and it is very easy for the plasma arc machining to cut the profile too. Next advantage is that no contact is there between the tool and the workpiece. And if you are not having any contact between the tool and the workpiece, then the tool wear out is also not occurring in that maximum way. Though the lifespan is too short, 5 to 7 hours for a nozzle of a plasma torch, but still, and thus it helps simple work holding device, and that is enough. So if you are not having in contact, that means it is having a very simple holding device arrangement. Next is cutting rate of all the material is quite high. So we cannot compare the cutting rate of this particular plasma arc machining with some other machining process because the cutting rate of all the materials are extremely high. Next, equally effective regardless of hardness of material and the other properties of materials are also available. Again repeating, equally effective regardless of hardness of material and other properties of materials are also there. Next, plasma arc machining can be automated itself. You need to go with the manual or something. It is totally automated one. And the last but not the least, that is plasma can machine exotic metal at high rate. So everywhere, every time we are getting that plasma machining or plasma cutting, whatever the thing is occurring, this is occurring at a very high rate. So this is one of the most important factor why we are preferring this process, because there should be some process, or there should be, if you want to cut a metal and it is a very hard material, then you need minimum time and you can go with a very high rate cutting also. So this is preferred for that particular reason. So from here you can see what are the various advantages that has been mentioned here. Now let's have a look for the disadvantages. First, burr is often produced. So burr is occurring because the heat is there. The flame is helping to occur the burr. Next, taper on the workpiece may occur because if you are increasing the standoff distance, then the tapering of the workpiece, there is a chance of occurring. Next, process alert the surface metallurgy. Obviously, the process parameter that alerts the surface metallurgy, it produces hard and uneven surface also, because due to this heat of this particular material. Next, smoke and noise is also produced during this process. Hence, eyes and nose shielding is also required because you are using a gas, a flame. So that means there is a chance of generation of smoke as well as noise. So if smoke is there, that means it will affect your eyes also, your nose also. So you have to maintain this one. Next point is that sharp corners are difficult to make using plasma arc machining. So if you are having any product and it is having a very sharp edge, then it is very difficult to make with the help of plasma arc machining. Why? Because you cannot generate a sharp edge or complex shape with the help of plasma. Because if the standoff distance is too high, that means there is a divergence in the arc. And if divergence occurs, that means you are not able to obtain the sharp edge. So you cannot use plasma arc machining for considering the sharp corner or this one. Next, the process product or the process produce a heat affected zone. And if heat affected zone is there, then there is a chance of premature failure of that particular component. As you know, when we are using the plasma arc machining, that means heat generation is there, because you are dealing with basically a flame plasma. So if you are dealing with that one, that means itself there is a heat affected zone is there in that particular product. And if heat affected zone is there, that means it will help to cause a premature failure. So these are the disadvantages that are associated with plasma arc machining, and we cannot avoid these disadvantages. So here I conclude the plasma arc machining, and thanks to everyone for listening the video and for viewing the video. So in this particular lecture, I have already covered up what are the process parameters that are affecting the machining or material removal rate for plasma arc machining. And from here you can see that which parameter is affecting the machining process. So the thing is that plasma arc machining is an advanced machining technology. If you want to go for cutting operation, it will be carried out very fast. For various metal, it depends upon the thickness, obviously. Thin will require less time, thick will require more time. And same way parallelly the current consumption is also there for thin and thick. But finally, whenever the requirement is required that some material which cannot be cut through the conventional machining method, we prefer to go with the plasma arc machining. So here I conclude the video for plasma arc machining, and thank you for all of you, those who are here today and listening my video. If you have liked the video, then please click the like button and share the video, and of course subscribe the channel, and please stay connected so that I can discuss some more non-traditional machining process in my next upcoming lecture. Thank you. Thank you very much.